Gangs are calling for a curfew in the slums of Rio de Janeiro. Hi, thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great day. I saw this story about what's happening in Rio de Janeiro with the Tecate germ going on, and I wanted to talk about it, but I also had an idea for how to make journalism better, so I'm going to talk about that as well. But first, let's get to the story. All right, so this is from Reuters. Gangs call curfews as Tecate germ hits Rio favelas. Rio de Janeiro. The baile funk dance parties have been called off. Some open-air drug markets are closed for business. Gangs and militias have imposed strict curfews. Tecate germ is coming, and Rio de Janeiro's lawless favelas are gearing up for an onslaught. So, City of God, a sparkling complex of slums made famous in the hit 2002 movie of the same name, registered the first confirmed case of Tecate germ in Rio's favelas over the weekend. Now, with a state government woefully underfunded and Brazilian's President Jair Bolsonaro widely criticized for a slow response to the outbreak, criminal gangs have long held sway over Rio's favelas and are taking their own precautions against the germ, according to residents and press reports. According to well-sourced Rio newspaper Extra, City of God gangsters have been driving around the slum, blaring out a recorded message to residents. And I'm going to get back to the Rio newspaper Extra in just a second here. But this is what they're saying. We're imposing a curfew because nobody's taking this seriously, the message said, according to Extra's Tuesday story. Whoever is in the street screwing around or going for a walk will receive a corrective and severe and serve as an example. Better stay home doing nothing. The message has been given. Reuters was unable to confirm the veracity of the recorded message, but City of God residents who declined to give their names for fear of retribution confirmed an evening curfew and other restrictions. So that's interesting that they're so concerned about their own neighborhoods catching this, that they're enforcing their own curfew. And that seems to be a very proactive step. But one thing that I wanted to talk about also was in journalism, what journalists can do, what media companies can do to make things more transparent and clear for the reader. Now, in this case, in this story, I've looked at several sources, and they're all citing the same Brazilian newspaper Extra. And they're saying that according to Extra, this is what it is. But it would be very easy for all of these media companies to, at the bottom of their story, list the source and have a link to the actual article. Now, the article is in Portuguese because it's in Brazil, but they should at least give a link to the source. That way, everyone could check it for themselves. Now, if you do a lot of searching, you're able to come up with the story. It's trickier because it's in a foreign language, and it's harder to find because it's in a foreign language. But I was able to find the original story, and I wanted to share that with you as well. So here we are, and this is a Google translation of the page. So I have to trust that Google Translate is working correctly, but there are other translation services that you can check. But here we are. This is Extra. Trafficking and militia order curfew in Rio favelas. And this is a way that if you read an original story, if you go to the source, you can see if they're quoting it accurately or if they're blowing it out of proportion. Now, in this case, they seem to have done a pretty good job. So I have to say kudos to Reuters for accurately describing what was in the article, the original article, which was Extra from Rio de Janeiro. And here in the Extra article, it does say that in the West Zone, the first community in Rio to have a confirmed case, the traffickers circulated through the favelas with a loudspeaker yesterday afternoon. And this is the Google translation of it. I come here at the request of the directors of Area 15, 13, AP, and Karate. We will do a curfew because no one is taking it seriously. And this is just a poor translation, but it says, anyone who's on the street or kicking will receive a concealer and will be an example. It is better stay at home with the sauce. The message has been given, said a recorded message. In Cidade de Dios, there are 19 suspected cases of the Takati germ contamination. And when we go through, we see that Reuters did accurately describe what was in the original article. And that's important. And I think that this is a step that journalism and media companies could do. They could actually cite their sources with a link to it so that people could double check. Because often, not in this case, but often, things will be exaggerated from the foreign source. So that's something that I am going to try to do. I'm going to try to list the actual sources that I use in every one of my videos in the description of my videos, and that way people will be able to check to see if I am reporting on it accurately or not. So I think that that is something that I can do to serve you better, but I think it's something that other media companies and journalists could also do. I think that that would make things a lot more transparent. So that was it. What do I think about this? Someone has to enforce this curfew. And if it's not being done in certain areas, I guess there's going to be vigilante curfews. There's not much you can do about it, but I think it's probably a responsible thing. So I say hats off to the drug traffickers that are enforcing this down in Rio. But that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And also, if you happen to be a WordPress guru, if you really understand it well, could you send me an email? If you could help me out at this email, because I'm trying to do something in WordPress and I can't figure it out. So anyway, but let me know your thoughts on this story in the comments. Peace.